Realtors. We're back for another episode of Disclosures, Duties, and Dilemmas. George, today I think we need to talk about referral disclosures.
What a big topic, Gabe. Referral disclosure, something that every realtor must know.
Absolutely, and for our brokers out there, while this topic's relevant to everyone, brokers, you really need to be aware of what the rules require, because what we're going to talk about today is what Iowa license law requires if you are going to be making a referral to another licensee or if you are going to be accepting a referral from another licensee.
Exactly, Gabe, and I'm glad you mentioned brokers, because brokers, as you know, per Iowa license law, you have the duty of supervision over your licensees. Okay, so it's very important that you are aware of the referral obligation your licensees have.
And today what we're talking about is we're very specifically talking about Iowa license law and what our license law says, right? We're not talking about cooperative compensation arrangements between different brokers. What we are talking about is one broker referring a client to a completely different broker.
Exactly. And Gabe, that's covered under Iowa Code 543B, .60A.
Okay, and George, I think this is one of those. Do you want to just kind of read this code section? What does it say?
Well, the first thing that comes out to me in this code section is the title. The title is Prohibited Practices.
That's important.
Prohibited Practices, yes. Business Referral Disclosures. I'm going to go down to subparagraph 9.
Okay.
A licensee or person licensed in another state or foreign country who conducts business in this state or refers business to a licensee in this state shall disclose in writing to the consumer and to the licensee to whom they are referring business the name of the consumer being referred, the name of the referring company, and the amount of compensation they are receiving for the referral.
Okay, so George, I'm a broker, you're a broker, okay? I've got somebody who walks into my office. I happen to be in central Iowa, you happen to be in eastern Iowa. Somebody comes into my office and says, I want to purchase a house over in eastern Iowa, can you help me? And I say, well, I'm not going to personally, but I know somebody who can, right?
Exactly.
So that's what we're talking about. I might refer you that client.
Right.
And it would be okay, right, for me to charge a referral fee?
It's absolutely fine for you to charge a referral fee. But look at the obligations this code section puts upon you, places upon you for referring.
Yes. And I think very clearly what it's saying is if I'm going to refer you a client and you're going to pay me a fee for that referral, I have to disclose, right? We have to disclose in writing, what that referral fee is going to be, right? And it has to be in writing to the consumer as well, to that person I'm referring. They need to know what I'm getting as a referral fee for referring them to you, correct?
Exactly right. And I think that's point on what the code says. You know, and looking at the code a little further and thinking about ethics and common sense, why wouldn't you?
Right.
Disclose that to your consumer.
Right.
Why wouldn't you? They should know this.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, I don't think it's probably going to alter the decision, probably one way or the other, right?
No.
But it's good to have that transparency. It's good for them to understand. And again, it's my obligation referring that business to you. I'm the one with the obligation to put that into writing to the consumer, to put that into writing to you, what that's going to be.
Exactly. You know, all that is for consumer protection, which is what we are all about. Brokers, be aware of that.
And it should be noted that every brokerage can use their own form, but the IAR does have a referral disclosure form that tracks with the requirements of this section that is available as a benefit of membership for all of our members to use.
Oh, great referral source there, Gabe.
And I think one little thing we should think about as well, one question I get sometimes, George, and this is a little bit interesting, but what about an out-of-state licensee, right? They're not licensed in the state of Iowa. You know, what's the requirements in that situation if an out-of-state licensee is referring business?
I believe that licensee would have the same requirements.
Yep.
I think that the statute, in my opinion, is clear that whenever there's a referral, no matter by whom or whom, you have to disclose.
And even if let's say that out-of-state licensee says, I'm not licensed in Iowa, I'm not bound by the Iowa Real Estate Commission's rules, you know, don't you think you as the Iowa licensee still have an obligation to say, hey, I need to comply with this law. If you're going to be referring me business, I need you to comply with this?
Absolutely. I think brokers need to be made aware of that. I think it's a broker's responsibility under their supervision obligation to make sure that gets done.
Absolutely. Again, if there's any other questions about this process, please feel free to reach out to the legal hotline, and we look forward to seeing you next time.